Alright, what's going on guys? It's Post here, and I am back with my OST action, round 1. I am versus user Piratilla or Piratilla. It might be that because I think the person said that they were from Spain. So, anyways, like I said, it's OST. I haven't been playing too much Sun and Moon. Don't enjoy it really too much for various reasons, especially since I've been getting back into more DPP. But I figured I would join OST anyways just to see how far I would go. But you all don't care about that, y'all just want to see the games. So looking at this this first game, I have a massive team advantage. Like, Manaphy, if I can weaken Ferrothorn, and Mantine like wins. Landorus, because I'm double dance, just wins. Venusaur can be a bit of a problem for him because he really only has Marowak to switch in, and maybe the Mantine depending on what his investment is. So like I said, team preview, I'm looking pretty solid, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into the game and let's get everything started. So I'm gonna lead with Venusaur because I think it has a pretty good lead matchup versus everything, unless he wants to lead with Tapu Lele, but I have a couple of solid switch-ins to handle it, so if he wants to lead with that, then I'm not too worried. He does decide to lead with it, but I have Scarm, and if he is... well, I don't think he's going to go for HP Fire or T-Bolt because I have a Heatran, so I think he's probably just going to go for the Psychic move to see what my playstyle is, and he does just go for that Psyshock, and I am Spadef Scarm, so that's what that Psyshock does quite a bit. But it's okay though, because I can just Roost. I know I'm going to invite the Marowak to come in, but I have no idea who this user is, so I want to find out more about their playstyle, so that's why I'm going to Roost right there and play it a little bit conservative. Either way, I think Roosting right there was the better play. I'm going to go to Manaphy because that Will-O-Wisp was obvious as all hell, so I could go to Manaphy and try to avoid that. I'm going to double it out here though, predicting the Ferrothorn, I believe, and I'm going to go out to Venusaur so I can get the Mega Evolution off. I have HP Fire on this Venusaur, so I can threaten the Ferrothorn quite well. And once again, I want to do a test to see what this person's playstyle is like. Even then, well, because Marowak was the obvious switch-in, and that's what the person went out to last time. Or no, this was the first time this scenario existed, but Marowak would be the obvious switch-in, so I could have doubled a Landorus, or to Manaphy, trying to put more offensive pressure. But I decided to stay in and go for HP Fire anyways, just once again to try and scout what's going on. And the person does stay in and go for Spike, so now I'm feeling pretty nice. So I predict this turn, this person's going to go out to Marowak, so I go out to Landorus because it's a Mantine, however. So that's not going to work out too well for me, but I could just go to Venusaur right here, and he decides to go for Toxic. Not too sure why. Not sure what that Toxic was hitting, unless the person doesn't have Scald. That'd be odd. But, well, that was Air Slash, so maybe it's like Toxic, Air Slash, Roost, and then Defog, because I don't see why you would run Manaphy without Defog, or not Manaphy, Mantine without Defog. So there's other bulky waters, so maybe it just doesn't have Scald. So maybe that's why that Toxic thing went down. I was kind of puzzled by that in the game, but I didn't really think about it like that. So I'm just going to stay in and keep firing off Giga Drains because, again, weakening this Mantine is going to be nice for my endgame of trying to sweep with either Manaphy or with Landorus. Once again, I don't want to catch a Will-O-Wisp. I know that I might catch some rocks, but I'm not too concerned about if the hazards go up or not. This team's pretty hazard resilient. If it gets more than a couple layers down, it could be a problem, but once again, with my Landorus being one of the main win cons, I'm not taking any spikes damage at all, so I predict the Mantine to come in because the Ferrothorn is so low, so I go for the Tail Glow right here to try and catch that. But the Ferrothorn does come in. Now, I'm going to make a tiny misplay right here and actually go for the Z-Power Rain Dance. The reason why I went for that was, just in my brain, so let me pause right here and let me try to explain what happened. So, after this turn of leftovers, Ferrothorn is just outside of Scald range. So, in my brain, I'm thinking I have the Z Rain Dance right here. I can get the speed boost, I can heal the burn, and I can take out the Ferrothorn the following turn. It just didn't occur in my brain that this person would go for Power Whip. I don't know why. But it was a bad play on my end. So, like, I'm not trying to make any excuses for it. It was just a poor play. I should have just either attacked or, like, gone to Venusaur or whatever. Maybe I predicted that, or that would have made sense. I didn't predict that, but that would have made sense. Going for the Z Rain dance, predicting the person to predict Venusaur, but that's not what went down. I'm not gonna try and affront for you guys, so I go for rocks right here with my Heatran. I'm okay with this, because unless this is like Z Memento Dugtrio, which is very rare right now at this point in the metagame, like, I can't think of anyone else besides me that still uses that set, even then I don't play Sun and Moon that often, so I don't even use it that often. So that's the only way this can go wrong, is I go to Landorus, and now I'm going to go ahead and start setting up. I'm going to go for the Rock Polish right now, and go ahead and get things going. Even if the person goes for Leech Seed, I can still set up a Swords Dance and then try and predict on the Protect, which they might not even have because they showed Gyro Ball, so it'd be like, yeah, so they don't even have Protect, because you have to have Leech Seed on Ferrothorn. So I'm able to get off the Swords Dance. Gyro Ball comes down, does a lot, but it's not going to kill, so Earthquake comes down. And basically, I can just win the game right now because the hazard, like the rocks are up, so now Mantine's in range. Mantine was in range anyways because I'm at +2. I just have to hit Stone Edge, which I do hit, so I'm just going to put the game on fast so that the game goes faster. Person drops a GG. If this was like Protect Alakazam, they could have tried to play around that and get like Intimidates off and stuff, but Protect Alakazam is very rare anyways, so I wasn't considering it. And like I said, Earthquake is going to come down a bunch, and I'm going to be able to win game 1 thanks to Landorus being a very good Mon. So, nothing really intellectual to add, just, like I said, I had really good team advantage, and I got the opening, and was able to take advantage. I like this team a lot, actually. Might have to do like a live with it or something. So, that was game 1. Here's game 2. Y'all see this team? This person has a, look at this little smiley face. That should be a frowny face, straight up. Look at this team, look at my team. I'm not gonna narrate this game at all, just because it's gonna take a long time. But y'all can see this, y'all can see what I have, and just assume what happens. So we're gonna go on to game 3. Just because you know what happens. And I was actually debating between bringing this team and the other team, and this team would have been so good in that stall matchup because this has a lot of anti-stall measures. It's pretty much the same thing as Jamvad's team. I think Blender used it too, but it's like Bantar with like Pursuit Scizor, Subseed, Superior, and this Scoliped's supposed to be SD Talonflame. I made it Baton Pass Scolipede, however, just because I think it was CVB. I don't remember if he made a post or someone else made a post quoting him about how Waterium Z Scolipede is low-key busted, so I felt like it fit on that team after I made a couple of modifications to make it to the team to make it more apt for Sun and Moon. I felt like Scolipede fit well over Talonflame, so I just decided to bring that for this game 3 since I lost game 2 because stall is fun to play around. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into game 3 right here of this series. I'm gonna lead Landorus. Landorus has a good lead versus pretty much everything. Metagross is going to be my opponent's lead of choice. I'm just gonna U-turn, predicting the switch. Person decides to stay in, maybe thinking that I wasn't Scarflando, but I am indeed Scarflando. So I'm gonna U-turn and get a crit there. It doesn't really matter too much. Metagross just don't run HP Fire unless you're out of this world. So I'm gonna go to Scizor right here. Now let me point something out. So this Volcarona is a problem. Like if you look at my type of team, it's fat, kind of balancy. Volcarona eats these teams up for breakfast, eats them alive. I have Heatran here. This isn't Spadef Tran. This is max HP, max speed Tran, because it's supposed, like, this team is supposed to be designed around countering stall and like bulky offense teams, and then you have just enough to try and get past the offense. It's a neat team. It's one of the few teams I think that are well designed versus like pretty much every single play style, but I thought that this was defensive Volk based on the team preview because there's a lot of anti-Heatran measures on the team, which is good for defensive Volk. Like, this gets rid of Heatran, this can run Focus Blast, so like, if Heatran's the main Tapu Lele switch and you just Focus Blast it, Tapu Fini obviously for the defog as well, and then EQ, Metagross, like, there's a lot of anti-Heatran measures on here. Plus, I think that defensive Volk is generally the better set to run than the offensive variant of Volcarona. So that's why I decided to make this play right here and go for the Pursuit as opposed to the U-turn, because the Volcarona is obviously coming in. If not, it's going to be the Landorus, and it's like some Rocky Helmet set, which is another possibility. But Volcarona more than likely, because Volcarona can wall Scizor, and if you catch it on the U-turn, you have the Flame Body chance. Flame Body is it 10% or 30%? I don't remember. But you have the chance for the Flame Body hacks. So, but I'm not concerned about it because this is the Magma Storm Heatran, so it's like Taunt, Magma Storm, Toxic, and then I just have Rocks on there just for the last slot. So, like I said, I expected it to be defensive Volk anyways, but if it's offensive Volk, Heatran is still pretty solid because I'm Taunt Toxic on this particular one. But he's going to show that he's offensive and that he has HP Ground. So my Heatran just gets blown away. But the thing with HP Ground Volk is that more often than not they're modest, because they need that modest to get around Spadef Tran. Like, I can't think of an instance where running Timid on HP Ground Volk makes sense. Yeah, I can't really think of it. So like I said, just from my experience, most of the time if you see HP Ground, it's modest Volk. So I'm gonna go to Landorus right here expecting that. So I'm just hoping to, like I said, be modest, outspeed, or that he's modest, that I can outspeed and go for Stone Edge based on that information. I don't know if that's still true in Sun and Moon, so that could be wrong, or maybe I'm just wrong in general, but that was my knowledge. Didn't work out because it's Timid Volk and I get Inferno Overdrived. The good news is that since it's Timid, I can go to Bantar and I can live a Bug Buzz, so I could just go to that and go for the Stone Edge. Landorus is going to come in, but at this point I'm at a giant disadvantage, so I have no room to try and play fancy. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Stone Edge right here, try and clap this Landorus. Doesn't work out, however. And yeah, I'm just at a huge disadvantage because losing Landorus, which was one of my key cons if you look at his team, if the team gets weakened, Landorus can put in a ton of work, especially since it's HP Ice. And Heatran too, because Heatran walls a large portion of his team. So I'm going to go to Superior right here. Even if U-turn comes down, Superior can still take that. So I'm not too worried. I stay in right here, mainly because I figure that like a Moonblast or something, or like a HP Fire is going to come down, and it's going to be Specs. So I sub, expecting it to be Specs. In hindsight, I should have expected it to be Scarf, Tapu Lele, considering that Landorus is his only rocker. I mean, I expected Landorus to be the rocker, I just don't think that Scarf Tapu Lele is that good. But it's not bad, that's just my personal opinion. Just because of like how weak it is. I feel like Tapu Lele can be doing other things, but at the same time it's still ridiculously strong, pretty good speed tier for a Scarfer, so that was just my fault. But that's why I went for sub right there, but either way, if I find out that he's Choice Scarf, then that's pretty good. So I found out that it's Scarf Tapu Lele, so like I said, that's a positive thing in my mind anyways. So my opponent's gonna make a smart play, and this is like the first time in the entire set that my opponent has like made the aggressive play. Normally I've been the aggressor the entire series. Of course game 2 could basically be considered a junk game because it's stall, but like game 1 I was being aggressive the entire time. My opponent was being very passive, very predictable. So again, I switch out to Tyranitar expecting that trend to continue, but my opponent does a nice job of adapting and going to Superior. So now it's the end game. The game is still not over at this point. I'm down 6-4. But my disadvantage is a lot larger than that, but I can still come back. Because if you look at my opponent's team, if I play correctly, my Scolipede can still come through, especially since I'm Waterium Z Aqua Tail. That'll allow me to get through the Landorus quite fine. And then everything else can be dealt with my stabs. Especially since I pursued the Metagross, so now it's easily in Mega Horn range, or even Aqua Tail range actually. But, like, my mindset was that I don't really know what my mindset was when I made this play. So I think that my best possible play was just to stay in with Tyranitar and just try and do my thing. There's a fucking battle going on. Tapu Koko's going insane right now. Shout out to the OST, but I think my best play was just to stay in with Tyranitar and take my chances. But my mind was like that I need this Tyranitar to help me deal with Volcarona and to prevent Tapu Lele from just clicking buttons. Or to help, even though I have Scizor too, but Scizor can just get HP fired. I'd rather have Tyranitar get Moonblasted than Scizor get HP fired at this point in the game. If that makes sense. Plus, like I said, I need it for Volcarona. But I was in a position where I don't think I could have afforded to do anything else. So I go to Superior on the Leaf Storm. In hindsight, this made 0 sense. So, in my brain, or what I should have done, was because I was at such a disadvantage, I should have chanced it to see if there was a HP Ice. Because Scolipede quad resists the grass move. But if you look at his team, he has a lot of things for like Scizor. Like he has Volcarona, he has HP Fire this, he has Landorus, which is probably Helmet or like some type of defensive Landorus. So in hindsight, this could have like HP Ice or HP Ground actually for to help with Heatran. So I should have expected that instead of trying to play around HP Fire. And just gone out to Scizor and say, if you know you got HP Fire, you got HP Fire, and I'm gonna get popped. Even then, I could still probably live +2 HP Fire, and that would have been the better course of action. I just decided to go with the Tyranitar. I don't even Stone Edge. I just crunch right here. Like I said, at this point, it's like if you've ever played games where you're not making smart plays, and then you realize what you're doing isn't smart. So now, like, your brain just turns from clear thought to like jarbled mush because it's like, damn, I could have made this play better, and now you're just not thinking clearly at all. So like, this didn't make going for crunch right there just made 0 sense. I should have just gone for Stone Edge, and it's like, if I miss this, whatever. But Stone Edge probably would have killed this. So Leaf Storm's gonna come down, and at this point, with me losing Tyranitar, the game is virtually over. I have to make some super Dawn plays with Scolipede in order to win the game, but in my brain, like, I'm just thinking, damn, I had a chance with this end game, but I just botched it up, so I just go for Bullet Punch right there anyways. Like I said, in hindsight, what I should have done was try and play around no HP Fire Superior and take advantage of that with my Scizor. Because now Volcarona is just going to come in, Volcarona is just going to do his thing. I think I just U-turn out to Scolipede and try and hope for the Fire Blast Mist and then kill it with the Aqua Tail. I think that's probably my game plan, to be honest. Yeah, that's really the only hope that I have at this point. So I go for U-turn, and then I'm just trying to hope for a Fire Blast Miss. If no Fire Blast Miss comes down, then it's pretty much over. Fire Blast does not miss, and the game is over at this point. I'm going to finish it out just to be a good sport, but that's going to be how I don't finish it out, actually. Oh, I do. Never mind. The sandstorm just subsided. Wow. But that's whatever. That's just going to be how the game goes. So GG's to Piratilla. Like I said, I think that's how your name is pronounced. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, then just let me know in the comments. But like I said, GG's. It's my fault for not playing as best as I could have, but you know, like I said, it is what it is. You live and you learn, and you move on. So, hope you guys enjoyed some actual Sun and Moon content. If you did, be sure to leave the thumbs up button. If you didn't, leave the thumbs down, but at least tell me why you didn't enjoy this content. And like I said, hopefully tomorrow or Saturday, I'm gonna get my round 3 of the DPP tour up, and then one of these days I'm gonna play. Because I signed up for RBY Cup, and I want to sign up for all the OU Cups at some point in time. So I'll be able to get those games to you guys. And now that Bank is out, Wi-Fi battles should be returning eventually. I just gotta stop being lazy and get some shit on cartridge. But Wi-Fi battles should be coming soon as well. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and hope you all have a good day. So peace.